Our partnership, as we mentioned, is several layered. Not only are we the motivational sponsors, but we also want to remain the official gaming sponsors of the national team. Besides that, and besides the financial sponsorship, it's also to alleviate the pressure that is on the FKF management team from thinking about finances, allowances, and what have you, and let them focus on the games. We've realized that once we've offloaded that issue from the management and the technical bench, they seem to focus more on the performance of the team than it is what is going to happen, nitakula, masitakula. Needless to mention, I've also been having my one-on-ones with the teams, with the players as well. And the biggest part of it, the biggest drive is definitely everyone is feeling encouraged, you know. Other than the financial bit again, we'd say on a personal level, each person is feeling motivated in their own way, because we've realized just them being told and being reassured by the president, Mwendwa, that musijali, everything is okay, just do your thing, leave the management and everything to do its part, and knowing that we can carry as many people to go and play, even if it's away, forget local, the team also feels very relaxed. Other than that, also the confidence that the team has in the coach also now builds on another point, because as the last minute curveball was thrown on us and they still performed without the star players, it goes to say that each person has taken up their point of play. Tutaendelea na udhamini na hizi results, hata kama Kenya haikwenda vile tulikuwa tunataka na Egypt, hizi results za Togo ni kubwa sana. Umesikia president amesema this whole entire thing haikuwa part of the contract, lakini bado sisi tunasema it goes beyond the contract. So udhamini unaendelea, tutakomesha, tutaendelea, tutawapatia details udhamini zitakuwa wapi. Tutarudi tu hapa, tutaki kutoa kila kitu saizi mwadharani, tutahold tu after waambia details zinaendelea, lakini udhamini unaendelea na hautakatizwa. Kama sisi tulisema tuko na timu, whether washinde ama washinde, tuko pamoja. Lakini ukiangalia hii team vile imejipanga, of course tusiongee mapema, lakini of course ukiangalia pale mbele kuna vitu fiti zinakuja.
Of course, yeah, I'm gutted I could be able to represent my country, but the most important thing is the team collected 3 points, and we won a game away from home after a very long period of time. It shows the quality that is in the team. The team majorly was composed of the local based players, and I believe everybody gave a good account of themselves, and it's a good way to finish our group, and you know, I hope most of them will be considered in the future assignments. It's going to be a different competition altogether. The magnitude of the competition is much more bigger than the AFCON, and each and every player knows the seriousness of the games. The only challenge now is that you know, with the president of the country, you know, banning the sports activities, I hope it's not going to affect the level of the players in terms of physical aspect of the game, because the qualifiers are coming up very soon, and you know, finishing the game against Togo with a win, I believe it gave everybody a confidence. We displayed also a good game against Egypt. We were unlucky we couldn't be able to win, but I believe the competition in the team is quite stiff, and I believe all the players are up to task.
Well, it's been with mixed results. Of course, a lot of things have happened with, of course, with this COVID thing, because our first game away to Comoro, we had some players who they claimed were positive, and that was even worse because it happened in the dressing room, and you are being told you cannot use your players in the dressing room. But that's water under a bridge. Now, yesterday again, in the morning, after we had already made a lineup, they came with a report again that some of the players will not be playing, and it felt a bit funny because we left here having been tested. I mean, it was less than 24 hours, and again, you go there, you are told that your key players are not eligible to play, and it caused a lot of, it did not cause disharmony in the team, but you think as a coach, wow, okay, you don't have the stem of the team. Your captain is out, your goalkeeper is out, most experienced players that played against Egypt, and then you smell some kind of foul play in that. But this is African football. A lot is going to happen like that. I think we need to work as a continent on a better way of doing it. I mean, I read that Uganda fell into the same kind of problem. So we didn't want to go the way we went into Comoro. We said, okay, we had 23 players in camp, and the first play is as good as the last one. And I want to thank the players because they didn't panic. We just said, we go and play. The guys who will not be able to play because of the reasons they gave, they stay in the hotel. We didn't even have a team doctor because also they claimed that he could have, there is what they call, I don't have the right English word for it. It's neither positive nor negative. So they said all those people cannot be able to be at the stadium. So it was a challenge, but I have to say that the boys lived up to the challenge. It was not an easy game, and they gave their best shot. And one of the things that really is pleasing is that players who have not featured for the Stars before, I mean, playing in the local league, could be able to step up and play like just another normal game. So I say, like, when you look at this game and you look at the game against Egypt, it gives you hope that all is not lost, despite not qualifying for AFCON, that there are brighter days coming. Kundi lolote ukiangalia ni kundi ngumu. Ukiangalia labda tukiangalia FIFA rankings, huenda Mali wako juu katika hilo kundi. Waganda wamekuwa nafanya vizuri katika michuano iliyopita. Mnyarwanda pia naye ameng'ang'ana sana, amekuwa CHAN, Mganda amekuwa CHAN, lakini hizo zote ni historia. Ukiangalia timu ya Kenya ina timu mpya, timu changa, timu ambayo ina uchu wa matokeo. Kwa hivyo nafikiri tutategemea kwanza huo uchu wa wachezaji ambao wanacheza nyumbani, wengine wanacheza labda Ulaya, kuweza kuunganisha na kupata formula ambayo tunaweza tuwezesha sisi wenyewe kuweza kupata matokeo mazuri katika hicho.
Wajua saa zingine ukifanya kitu watu wengi hawaoni mahali unaenda kama kiongozi, na ni kazi yako kuona mbali. Tuliamua kwamba baada ya kupoteza Comoros away, kudraw Kenya, kupoteza Comoros away, tuliamua kwamba tu rebuild hii team, tu reboot hii team, tuipatie a new life, na tukawa na kocha ambaye anaelewa anachotaka kufanya. Tukabadilisha team, akaibadilisha na kuleta vijana. Ukiona wengi sasa kama jana, vijana 6-7 ni vijana wa nyumbani, mechi yao ya kwanza. Kwa hivyo ilikuwa riski sana, kwa sababu unaweza kupoteza wana cheche za ukastumble. Lakini tukicheza against Egypt kukawa na possibility. Naweza mshukuru coach kwa sababu kuamua kucheza hao vijana against Egypt haikuwa rahisi. Alafu sasa kwenda away na kucheza na vijana wengi sasa wa home na wale hawajawahi cheza, I think kwangu ni kuonyesha kwamba future ya Kenyan football tumeanza kufungua chapter mpya, na niko excited, niko grounded but excited kuona I think miaka 10 ijayo will be more successful than the last 30 years. Tunataka kuwa successful in the next 10 years than the last 30 years. You know, we tested players in camp before we left. It's a requirement. We tested before Egypt, we tested before we left for Egypt, and we were all negative. So we landed in Togo, and we had Comoros issues fresh in our heads. Because you remember in Comoros, we had this problem. We had a problem on match day in Comoros regarding COVID-19. So when we go to Togo, one of our heads was in COVID-19. So first of all, they tested, and they take a little bit longer in that country. So on match day in the morning is when they come and say, you're not okay. And obviously, if you take Olunga, for example, he's been tested from Qatar. You cannot leave Qatar if you're not negative. He was tested when he got here 2 times. Negative. How do you land? And you know, we went by private jet. Very isolated. Our hotel was very isolated. You couldn't see a player anywhere. So we were told in the morning that some of them were positive and some of them were, the status was not clear. So I think it was an afterthought because they picked the core of the team, in my view. I don't want to make accusations. And we found that we don't have the keeper, we don't have Josh, we don't have Michael Olunga. And then later on, we don't have Lawrence Juma. All right. This time our approach was very different. In Comoros, we really caused problems and said our players will play because we know they're negative. And indeed, they were negative. This time we said, okay, we have a team. We put them aside. And we said we're going to play. Guess what? They had no answer. I can tell you, the players are negative. We have tested. It's only 72 hours since we tested. They're negative. But you know, in Africa, we have to think about this because you can see Uganda was complaining. And eventually, Farouk Mia played. Even though he was being told he was negative. I had the same scenario in Comoros. So COVID-19 is presenting some challenges we have to deal with. Because how do we, if we live here and our players are negative, our government will allow us to leave if they're positive. If we get to your country, how do they become positive within hours? It's a question that CAF has to handle. For me, I am proposing to have neutral doctors and neutral testing when we get to a foreign country. In fact, if you ask me, I'm proposing that a federation like Kenya should not test Egypt. We've never tested anyone and turned out to have a problem. Comoros were here, we never had a problem with them. We tested them, we were clear. No country came to us and tested positive because before they leave, they were negative. My proposal to CAF is that they have to look at this and say, every time we are playing, a neutral testing function, body must test the players. The vaccines are here now. In Kenya, I was talking to CS today, and we are going to vaccinate the players. Very soon, she said she's organizing for us to vaccinate all Premier League players. I know that in the countries that the other players are going will be vaccinated. So moving forward in a couple of months, the issue of PCR test will not arise, but a vaccine certificate. Once you have that, then you can go and play. So these are the issues. There are issues of COVID. I don't want to accuse Togo, but we found it peculiar because we know our players are negative. And that's why they didn't play. But we're also happy they gave us an opportunity because now we saw Senaj playing, we saw Saruni playing, we saw players that would never have played starting, Clifton Mieso, and all these guys. We saw Mwale coming in and playing. I think if the other guys were there, they wouldn't play. So imetusaidia kwa sababu sasa tunaona mahali tunaweza enda. I think I'm happy with it myself. I'm not accusing anyone, but I'm proposing we find ways COVID-19 isiwe ni njia ya watu kulock out wengine. Hata the mental toughness ya kuenda away ukaambiwa toa wachezaji 7, if you're not mentally prepared, I can tell you ni noma sana. So tumeongea na waziri leo asubuhi, ameniambia kwamba tumwandikie. She is keen that if we can implement some things, because we've been playing without fans, as you know, we continue like that. And she is keen that we come back quickly. She is keen that we vaccinate all our players. So ameniambia leo kwamba anapanga tufanye vaccination of all football players and officials in the league to vaccinate, and then tuendelee na COVID protocol, because nimemweleza kwamba Hassan Abdallah 3 goals in 3 matches sio magic, it's because of the league. And you notice Togo walikuwa na a lot of local players, but hawana local league. You could see that we are higher than them. You can see even against Egypt, you can see our sharpness of some of our players is because of our league. So we must have our league going on at the shortest period possible. We'll write to her tomorrow. We'll have a chat with her. Hopefully we can have football back ASAP. She told me she's keen to do it, and I think we can do it. And then we're going to June knowing